is Valerie Hector. In this video, I'm going to show you in the easiest possible way how to make this beaded structure, which I call the Chinese pillow, okay? Now, let me tell you a little bit about where I met this structure. I met it totally by accident when I was in Hong Kong one year, and I happened to take the bus down to Stanley Market. Some people would call Stanley Market a bit of a tourist trap, you know, designed for Westerners. I did not go looking for beadwork. I didn't expect any. I was just seeing, you know, what's there right now at Stanley Market. And I went to a clothing shop, walked inside, didn't see anything I liked, which didn't surprise me because I'm too tall and bulky for the usual clothing that's shown at Stanley Market. But when I looked up at the ceiling in this little shop, it was full of dozens of these hanging beaded ornaments, these lanterns. And then it hit me, oh yeah, it's Lantern Festival in China, right? Lantern Festival brings the New Year celebration to a close. It happens 15 days after the start of the New Year. And so, of course, I had to have some of these lanterns, okay? I could see there were different structures. This is the structure I liked the most. I thought, I've got to have that. I'd never seen it before. So I asked the sales clerks, please, could I buy some? They shook their head. I thought to myself, come on, you guys, you have dozens. Why can't I have some? You know, I was very polite, though. So finally, I thought, well, I'll just ask for the boss. I said, is the boss here? And of course, they were, you know, I was using up their time. I was wasting their time. But they went to get the boss. The boss came out, and he looked at me like, oh, God, another tedious American tourist. And I apologized in my pathetically bad Chinese, which he probably couldn't understand. And I said, please, can I buy some, please? And he shook his head. Long story short, eventually, to get rid of me, he agreed to sell me some. And of course, I asked the price because I didn't know, you know, would it be thousands of dollars? And he told me the equivalent of 50 cents. So I said, please, can I have one of each different structure? Because there were, as I think I said, 3 different structures. And he sold them to me. And I paid a total of $1.50. I felt like the wealthiest person on the face of the earth when I put them into my bag and walked out of the shop, you know? Anyway, I brought them home. I taught myself how to do this. It's a bead polyhedron that is not known, as far as I can tell, in the world of geometry, okay? It was invented apparently just in China. It's a combination of rings of 5 and rings of 6, okay? You could call it three-dimensional pentagon hexagon stitch. Came home, started using it, and here's a bracelet I made a long time ago, just of these Chinese pillow structures. In 4mm Czech fire polish combined with 4mm Czech druk, also some sterling silver beads here. I went on to make this structure in all kinds of different sizes. Here's a pillow bead in, let's see, I think, is this 3mm sterling silver, okay? In the beginning, I made it the hard way, okay? 144 beads, the hard way, okay? And now in this video, I'm going to show you the easy way. So let's move on. Okay, I want to get started. Just want to tell you a couple things beforehand. In this video, I'm going to show you how to make a solid color pillow, but you can also work patterns with the pillows, and I'll show you these in a future video, okay? Another thing I want to show you is that this is what I call a lantern structure. I invented it myself. I don't know what geometric structure it represents, but I'm also going to show you this in a future video. Now, each pillow, as I think I mentioned, has 144 beads. I'm going to show you how to do it the easy way, as I said. What is the easy way? Well, if you have taken my tutorial on the Chinese 120 bead sphere, you'll know that we make it in 2 halves, like the northern hemisphere and the southern hemisphere. And then we stitch together the 2 halves at the equator. This is an incredibly easy approach to doing any Chinese structure that will cooperate, or any bead polyhedron that will cooperate. In other words, it has to be symmetrical. Okay, if it's asymmetrical, it's going to be harder to make 2 symmetrical halves that you connect in the middle. All right. Now, the easy way to do it is this. Create these 2 halves here, each of which has 3 rows. Okay, and then stitch them together along the perimeters, okay? Now each one of these, and you're going to make 2 of these, and then you're going to reinforce them really well. Each one has 3 rows. This is row 1. Row 1 is just a ring of 6 beads, okay? Row 2 is 6 rings of 6 beads. Row 3 is 12 rings, alternating rings of 5 with rings of 6, okay? Piece of cake. It's incredibly easy to make this structure. It just takes time to do the reinforcing, all right? So let us get started. All right, this is our ring of 6 beads, right? Go through any ring, or be coming out of any bead in this ring. It doesn't matter right now which bead you come out of. Come out of any bead, okay? And we know that we want to create another ring of 6 beads, and that 1 bead is already in place. So how many beads are we going to add? Right, we're going to add 5. Let's pick up 5 beads. All right, then we're going to go through the bead we just came out of, okay, and pull. So now we have 2 rings of 6 beads. And what I will often do, even though I've made this structure dozens of times, I will take a quick look to be sure, have I really created 2 rings of 6? Even this morning I created a ring of 7 when I was trying to create a ring of 6. So just check, get in the habit of checking to make sure you've added the right number of beads, okay? Otherwise, later on, you notice your error and you have to go back, all right? Let's put the needle through the next bead in the original ring of 6 beads, okay? And pull. All right, do we really have 2 rings of 6? Yeah, for sure we do, okay? 2 beads are already in place for the next ring. So let's add, this is bead 1 and bead 2. Let's add 4 beads, okay? And if you're noticing that my light keeps blinking, it is blinking. I don't know what's going on, but I will attend to it soon. All right, now, when you're not sure if you're a beginner, play this game I call Ask the Beads. Bend the thread down to where you think you should put the needle in next, and ask the beads which is the right bead to go through next. The beads will always tell you. The beads never lie, okay? To create a ring of 6 beads, we're going to go through this bead here, okay? And pull. And we're going to go through the bead that we originally built this ring from. And then we're going to go through the next bead in the original ring of 6, okay? And then add 4 beads. All right, we have our four beads added. Put the needle through this bead here. Go back through the bead from which we started building this ring. Navigate through the next bead in the original ring of 6. Pull. Add 4 beads. And I hope you're seeing how fast this can go when you understand how to build it. Create the next ring of 6 by going through this bead here. Pull. Go back through the bead from which we started building this ring. And pull. Go through the next bead in the original ring of 6, like that. Pull. And add 4 more beads. Insert the needle through this bead here. Pull. Go back through the bead we came out of, we were starting from when we built this ring. Go through the next bead in the ring of 6. Go up through this bead in the first ring of 6 that we added for row 2 and pull. You know what? I'm going to turn on another light here if I can. Yeah, I think that's going to help a lot. Yeah, hope that helps eliminate some of the flickering, or you know, makes it annoy you yet less. Now, this is the last ring of 6 beads in this row. We're going to add not 4 beads, but 3, because 1, 2, 3 beads are already in place. Okay. This is a general rule when you're making these 3-dimensional bead polyhedra, that when you're ending a row, you're coming to the very last ring in a row, you're going to add 1 fewer bead than you have been adding. Okay. Go through, go through this bead here and pull. Finish closing the ring here. Go back through here. And we're navigating up because we're going to add the next, start creating row 3 by coming out of this bead here. Okay. And then we're going to go through this bead here. Now I just want to take a moment so that you see what's going on here. This bead, this bead here, obviously this is a ring of 6 beads. This is the topmost bead in the ring of 6 beads, okay? And here's how I remember how to build this structure without looking at instructions or anything, okay? When I'm heading from row 2 to row 3, I say to myself, the 5 begins at the top of the 6. What does that mean? We're right now at the top of the 6. We're going to build a ring of 5, okay? That's all you need to know. If you don't know that, then you wonder, well, should I build a ring of 6 first? And the answer is, yeah, you can. But as a mnemonic device, okay, to commit this structure to memory so that you never again have to use this video or any kind of instructions, just remember the 5 begins at the top of the 6 when you're heading from row 2 to row 3. 1 bead is already in place. We're going to add 4 to create our first ring of 5 beads. Okay. Now we're going to go back through the bead we just came out of. Okay. And here is our first ring of 5 beads. I would definitely, being me, take a moment to be sure that I really added the right number of beads for this ring. Yes, I did. All right, now I mentioned that row 3 is 12 rings alternating 5 and 6, 5 and 6 beads, okay? So here we have our first ring of 5 beads. We're going to get into position to add a ring, to create the second ring, which is a ring of 6. How do we do that? Go through this bead and this bead, okay? So that's 2 beads. Pull. Now we notice that 3 beads are already in place. 1, 2, 3. So we're just going to add 3 to create this ring of 6. All right. Not sure where to put the needle in? Ask the beads. The beads will tell you. Which bead do you go through to form a ring of 6? Well, the beads just told us we go through this bead here. All right. Pull. Go back through these other 2 beads belonging to this ring of 6. Navigate over 1. That's all you do. Navigate over 1. And now we're going to build a ring of 5. 2 beads are already in place, this one and this one. So we're going to add 3. Go through this bead here and this bead here. Can you see? Pull. All right. Is it really a ring of 5? Yeah, it is. Good. Navigate over 2 beads. 1, 2. Okay. Next, we have to build a ring of 6. 3 beads are already in place. Let's add 3. Go through this bead and this bead and this bead. Okay, so we're going through 3 beads to build this next ring of 6. There it is. It's looking great. Now go through 1 bead to get ready to build the next ring of 5 beads. 2 beads are in place. Let's add 3. Go down through this one, over through this one, and pull. Navigate through 2 beads. 1, 2, and pull. We're creating a ring of 6 beads, so let's add 3, because we know 3 are in place. Go through this bead, and this bead, and can we also go through the 3rd bead? Yeah. So we're going through a total of 3 beads. Let me do that again for you. Go through this bead and this bead and the next bead in the row right there. All right, pull. How many beads do we go through next to build our ring of 5? Yes, you're right. We go through 1 bead. 1 bead, build a ring of 5, add by adding 3, whoops, that's great. Close the ring of 5 by going through this bead and this bead, okay, and pull. Go through 2 beads, this bead and this bead, to get into position to build the next ring of 6. 1, 2, 3. Excellent. We'll have this finished in no time. Go through this bead and this bead and this, whoops, this bead. These metal beads are great because they have fairly large holes. All right, how many beads do we go through next? Yeah, just 1, right? All right, next ring is a ring of 5. So add 3 beads. Go through this bead and this bead and pull. How many beads do we go through next to build the next ring, which has 6 beads? Yeah, you're right. We go through 2. Let's go through this one and this one. Okay, can you see? All right. Add 3 beads. Go through this bead and this bead and this bead and pull. How many beads do we go through next? 1. All right, and you see we're almost done with row 3. Piece of cake. All right, add 3 beads to create a ring of 5. Is that correct? Am I doing this right? Have I added too many? Wait, what's, oh, it flipped over on me. All right, something didn't look right there. Go through this bead and this bead. All right. Now, I hope the thread isn't going to get funky on me here. Okay, what do you notice here? We're almost done, right? We have only 1 ring left to finish, and that's a ring of 6 beads that sits between 2 rings of 5. Now, we know for sure that 3 beads are already in place, or even 4, actually, of this next ring. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's navigate through 3 of them. Go through this and this. I'll just go through 2 right now, okay, so you can get a good view of which ones, and then go up through this one. All right, now remember what I said, when we're closing up the last ring in a row, it always takes fewer beads than we've been used to adding, okay, for that number, that ring, that kind of ring. This is a ring of 6 beads. We have been adding 3 beads up till now, and now we're going to only add 2, right? Because 4 are already in place. All right. 3. and go through this one. Okay, all we've done, we've gone around this structure. That's all we've done by adding rings of 5 and 6, 5 and 6. All right, this is done. Now, at this point, what I want you to do, it's really floppy, right? I want you to reinforce it until it's like this. It's kind of semi-rigid, all right? You can also reinforce it after you've finished the entire structure. I mean, after you've stitched these guys together. But, I don't know, I think it's better to do most of the reinforcing now when it's flat because it's easier, okay? Do what you want, but keep in mind that your pillow will not hold its shape unless it's well reinforced, all right? The amount of reinforcing you're going to do, of course, depends on the size of the holes in your beads, all right? And so now we get to have the fun part. The fun part, I'm waxing. I tell you, I am waxing this thread extra. All right. Okay, so now to make a pillow, a proper pillow structure, how can I show you? Let me show you with this. Okay. 12 rings of 6 beads, only 6, okay, at the equator. Now, all we're going to do, the first ring, to build the first ring of 6, we're going to add 2 beads. But from then on, we're just going to add 1, 1, 1, 1, okay? So we're working our way around, connecting the top with the bottom by adding the equator. Now, I want you to see something, okay? There's different ways to build this structure, but I want you to see the correct way, okay? Here we have a ring of 5 here, right? Notice ring of 5, and here we have a ring of 6, all right? So you're always connecting a ring of 6 to a ring of 5, a ring of 5 to a ring of 6, all right? It works in other ways too. This isn't the only way that it works, okay? You can also attach a 5 to a 5 and a 6 to a 6, but I want to show you the original Chinese way, all right? So let's get started. I am going to put the needle in anywhere. I am using a new needle and thread because, of course, it's just easier. Put the thread in anywhere. I don't usually form a knot. I just put the thread in. Leave an inch or 2 for a tail, okay? And now I want you to match up. Well, we're going to go through 1 bead in a ring of 5. Okay. We're going to match this ring of 5 with a ring of 6. Okay. Can you see how there's a ring of 5 here and a ring of 6 here? Okay. So we know that we're going to put 1 equator bead in between them. All right. Actually, why don't I use, how about this? I will use some turquoise beads here in the same size, also turquoise metal, so you can more easily see which beads are being added. All right. So I'm going to string 1 bead here, pull it down, and again match up our ring of 5 with a ring of 6. All right. Now I could either I can either insert the needle through this bead here or this bead here. If I go through this bead here, that means I'm working away around in a clockwise direction, more or less, right? If I decide to go through this bead here, I'm going to be working around in a counterclockwise direction. Doesn't matter which direction you work in. You can blend the directions. You can switch back and forth. It doesn't matter. All you have to do here is create rings of 6 to form an equator. All right? So I think I will just go through, I'll go through this bead here, right? Doesn't matter which one. And pull, all right? Orient them so that, did I go through a ring of 5? Yeah, I did. I'll just pull that out. Piece of cake. All right, now I'm going to definitely go through a ring of 6. Okay, I'm going through this bead here. Whoops. This I'm splitting. For a ring of 6, I'm splitting the middle. the 2 beads in the middle, right? And I'm going to pull. Great. Now, if I want to form a ring of 6 beads here, I'm going to have to add another bead, right? And where is it going to sit? It's going to sit right here, uniting a ring of 6 with a ring of 5, okay? So how do I get into that position? I go through this bead here. And pull. All right, now I'm in position to complete this initial ring of 6 beads. All right. Now, which bead should I go through to complete this ring of 6? This one. Go through this one. And pull. All right. Now I would work my way back around the ring, although you don't have to. You can just start the next ring if you want to. I think a little reinforcing helps keep the equator in order as you're making it. All right. So I'm stitching around this ring of 6. Go back through the second equator bead here. And pull. And get into position to create the next ring of 6. Go through this bead. Well, I'll just go through one at a time. We're going to go through 2 beads. Go through this one and this one. Okay. Now 5 beads are in place. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So let's add one more equator bead. All right. And at this point, after this, we're going to close it up like it's a clamshell that's closing, okay? But right now, we'll leave it open. Go through this bead here, because all we're doing is making another ring of 6. Okay. Go through this bead here, and the second equator bead, and this bead here, and that bead there. And pull. All right, this is what we have now. See, it wants to come together, doesn't it? We're just going to keep stitching around, stitching around, stitching around, and then after that, when we reinforce, it will turn into a proper pillow. All right, now see, I think I'll switch directions here. It doesn't matter how you stitch in these rings. All you're doing is forming rings of 6. All right. Add an equator. Where can we form the next ring of 6? Okay, we have to go through this bead to make that happen. Go through this bead here, up through this one, over through this one. Get into position to create the next ring of 6. Oops. Great. All right. Now let's go through getting into position just to create the next ring of 6. Go through this and pull. Add another blue equator bead here. Form the next ring of 6 by going through this bead here. Go through this bead here. And if you've forgotten to tighten up any of these rings, you can do it now. You can do it later. The more tightening you do around the equator, the more the pillow takes on its 3-dimensional shape. It's puffy shape. Okay. Okay, pull. And keep going. Oops, I broke the thread. Okay, that's an occupational hazard with these metal beads, in that Yeah, you know, I feel like they do sometimes want to cut the thread. I just stitch the thread back in and keep going. All right. All right. You know, I think that you get the idea, but I'll do a few more with you before I leave you to finish the equator on your own. Okay. Another ring of 6. You know, you could put something inside of here to make it puff out if you wanted to. I don't know what you'd put, but there are so many options for varying these structures, right? And when you come to know these structures better, or even right now, you will think of variations you could do. Okay. Great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right, it's 5 more to go, and then we're done. But then we have to reinforce, okay? Okay. You know, I think that's enough. We have 8 equator beads in place. Even this is kind of a cool structure, just the way it is. It seems to have a lot of potential, just as it is, right? But after you finish putting in the final equator bead, and as you reinforce, reinforce, reinforce the equator, you'll notice the pillow taking shape, more and more shape, okay? But it will take a while, all right? So that's it. Thank you for coming by, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. If you like what I'm doing here, please subscribe, and I'll keep uploading. Thanks.